What's up YouTube, this is Collect Pokemon, and today we have a very special video. Why is this a very special video? Well, just look at what is in front of me. Today we are going to do a comparison between the most sought after cards in the Pokemon Sun and Moon set, and we're going to do a comparison between the Japanese version and the English version, and we're going to get an HD zoomed in closed up view so you guys can tell me, leave some comments to say which one you guys think is better, the Japanese version or the English version, and which one is worth collecting. So let's get to it. So before we do anything, these cards are still all sleeves, so just enjoy this first. Appreciate the beauty of the Ultra Ball. Now let's start off with the energies first, and then we'll work our way in to the Ultra Ball. Don't worry, these cards are all sleeves, so I will unsleeve them just to show you guys. And these cards will be unsleeved for a very short period of time because I don't want it to be curving here and there. So the first thing, let's compare the energies. So I'm just gonna zoom in to these two energy before I do the unsleeving. So here is not a fair comparison because I have extra sleeve on the English one because I did not put them on in my sheets. So let's get on to, let's see what we've got. So give me a second. There's someone on the phone. Sorry guys. Let's get them sleeping. Sorry, I should have just cut that out, but it's not that big of a deal. I think you guys can wait. So I've washed my hand clean. I've cleaned my table. So, for those of you who think that I'm putting my finger on these cards, and it's not that bad. Okay. So let's talk about the let's put it up here first. Okay, get my camera to focus on the cards. Yes, nice. So just to keep in mind, my light source is on the left hand side, so which is closer to the English card. So that's why, it might seem a bit brighter on that side. So I'm going to flip these to the position of these so you guys can compare. So the lighting does matter, but it's not mattering that much. The difference here we can see is the gold rim. In the English version on the right hand side, the gold rim is a lot thinner. It only says energy. Whereas in the Japanese one, the gold rim is a bit thicker at the top, which says energy, basic energy. And that's about it. Both of them have a very similar pattern. The stars and everything, the position of the stars are pretty much similar. The diagonal pattern on the side of the edge is also very similar. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little zoom into the Japanese version first. I'll place it on my hand and I'm going to zoom the camera in. Okay, so after that it focused. So from this Japanese version, we can see that the card looks a lot smoother. Well, when we make the comparison, you guys can take a look. And the energy looks into the light like this. Actually, I'm just going to show it first before I start talking. So I'm just going to put it in different angle of light. Ooh. Look at the English one. Okay, now I'm gonna talk. So basically, I can tell you guys that the English one has much more of a texture to it, whereas the Japanese one has a more smooth texture to it. Which one I would like more? I think, you know, in here it's a big debate. At first glance, I actually really like the Japanese version, but looking closer or looking longer at it, I actually quite like the English one. So we're just gonna pan the camera in. Actually, that's the furthest it would go. So, because I have this zoom lens, so I wish to show you guys, and I think that the purple tint is actually stronger on the Japanese one, which makes the psychic energy, the middle part stands out. So if I move this onto this side, you guys can make a comparison. The Japanese one seems a bit more three-dimensional. The artwork makes it look as if there's more depth into the card. So I think the card design itself, the printing of it, the Japanese one makes a very nice three-dimensional version of it, which it's slightly winning over the aesthetic of this, where this is more of a, you know, we see a more flatter kind of surface. So I guess, you know, you guys have a good judgment of which one you guys like more. So leave a comment. Basically, I'll show you all three of them in a video. Leave your comment and tell me which one do you actually like more. Alright, so let's get on to the other card, but first let's leave these bad boys back first. Okay. So if you guys like my video, remember to subscribe. I think I've just hit around 500 subscribers. I really hope to get a bit more subscriber. So do guys share my video with other people. I really hope to get a lot more subscriber, because, you know, you guys are the reason why I want to make this video, and I want you guys to, you know, enjoy it and, you know, subscribe. So the next card we have is the Metal Energy. The Metal Energy, I would say slightly I would prefer the Japanese version. You guys can see that I don't know, it just looks more concise, I have a feeling. So we're gonna look into this again in just a bit, where we unsleeve them. I feel like when I'm talking about unsleeving them, it's like, I don't know, it feels like I'm undressing them. Anyhow, strange. And you need to be very careful, because you don't want to damage any of these cards. Alright, so if we make a comparison between these two, so let's put it this way. So, and let's zoom out a bit. So they're equal distance to the light source. So you guys can see, you know, I think it's on camera. Let me see if I can get rid of the stuff that is blocking my view on the camera. Oh, it doesn't, but anyway. So I think they're pretty decent, both of them. This one, the color gradient, it's slightly less, I would say. Let's move this aside here. Push this in. The color gradient on this one seems more obvious, where you see that the silverish, grayish Metal Energy radiating out. Whereas if I move this to directly this point, you can see that the depth of color again is not as nice on this energy card. So let's take a closer look at the texture. So we start off with the English version. Okay, so I'm just gonna get my camera to zoom in. Alright, so in terms of the texture, okay, focus, camera. Okay, so in terms of the focus, once it focus, okay, in terms of the texture, again, it's like a very grainy texture in the middle, and we can see that very classic secret rare lined texture on this card. And as we move down, you can see that it's very contrasting. There are slight smooth edge on the stars, which is actually not bad. However, again, the I mean, it doesn't look very three-dimensional to me. I guess it's just because of the printing. There's just less detail on the stars that are behind. Okay, and you can see that it's very textured, even down to the place. This one, it's not exactly the border, but this secondary border here. And if we look at the Japanese version, the texture is a lot smoother. We don't see that textured on the edge of the card, but then the way how they print this, because of the finer grain, it makes it more three-dimensional. The stars in the background are more vivid. You guys can see the stars are way more vivid than the English version. So let's make that little comparison again. English version. So the stars in the background are a lot less vivid, especially these ones. Can you guys see? It's very hidden. So I guess that is the comparison between the two energy, the metal energy and the psychic energy. So again, put them back in the sleeve first. Protect the card. And the problem is because I'm living in Hong Kong, so it is very typical for some bending of the card due to the humidity changes. So I usually don't leave it out in the open for a very long time. Alright, so let's go for the Ultra Ball now. Okay, actually I have 4 of them, so let me choose 2 of them to show you. Oh, 2 of them to show you. They're currently still in sleeve, so no worries. Okay, let's get them unsleeved. So this one is in double sleeve because it was not in my book, right? And I usually sleeve it top half in first. The reason being that, you know, when I put it in a top loader or whatever, I can make sure that there's no air, or I can squeeze the air back out. So here is the raw version of the 2 cards. You guys can take a first hand look. They look, at first glance, they actually look very similar on camera actually. But I mean, now we're gonna take a closer look at it. So the only difference here, take a look at the top. In the English version, it says Trainer Ultra Ball. In the Japanese version, it says Trainer-sis Ultra Ball. So that's a printing difference between that. The font on the trainer is pretty much the same. I'm just gonna move this over here. The coloration of it seems very similar. Okay. And the position of the rest of everything, the boxes, the blue box at the bottom, it's very similar as well. Gold rim, similar. Radiation, everything, it's actually very similar. And it's actually very similar up to the point of these 2 yellowish line on the Ultra Ball. Yeah, so I think this one, the English one, has less of a shadow than this one. Let's get a slightly closer look. It might just be the lighting. So for the Japanese one, you guys can see it's a very beautiful card. The texture is there, but the texture is a lot finer than the English version. So you guys can see under the reflection of the light. It's a more smooth texture, yet the printing is actually looking equally as three-dimensional. However, the depth here is slightly less than the one in the Japanese energy card. So, a very nice card. So then we're gonna look at the English version now. Now, the weight of it, seemingly the English version seems a lot heavier. So this one, you can see a thicker textured. Can you guys see that? The texture at the edge, we can see a more obvious texture. The texture in the middle, it's actually a bit more rougher. The lines are more obvious in terms of the texture. And everything else is pretty much the same. Let me try to compare it like this. So you guys can see it's actually very similar. However, the left-hand card seems to be a bit more shinier because of the reflection of the detailness of the card. Whereas when the light shines on this, it seems less even. This one seems a bit more even. This one seems a bit less even. So, guys, that is it. This is the comparison video. If it focuses again, that would be nice, because I don't have a hand to click on the focus button. And now I do. So basically, this is a comparison video that I want to show you between the Japanese card and the English card. Let me know in the comment section which one you prefer. Do you prefer the English one or the Japanese one? Because I think that, because I've heard mixed. If you followed my Instagram, you can see people commenting that, you know, for playing is obviously the English one, for collecting is the Japanese one. I'm actually quite surprised this time that the English one seems thicker than the Japanese one. It seems sturdier. Yet, the Japanese one seems, I mean, the texture is a lot nicer. But I mean, it's down to opinion. So guys, remember to like my video, remember to subscribe, and let me know if you guys like these comparison video, because, you know, and I can do this for every set. I can make a little comparison between these, you know, secret rare or these ultra rare gold rim cards, because, you know, I'm tempted to collect all of them. I mean, the golden color one. Anyhow, so remember to subscribe and check out my other video. And that's it. This is Collect Pokemon. Click that subscribe button. Okay, peace out for now. Bye.